big upgrades to towns and cities and how they can improve your property value, how to spot them when you're buying a property. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Good morning.
Ah,
Wow. Smashing it with another big topic. How to become a pro investor.
You know what? It's. I think because it happens with such scale and around us, we forget how significant some of these projects are. When we look back in 5 or 10 years, we look at how much those suburbs popped or those areas popped, and it's like, oh my God, if I only knew back then. So how do we spot those puppies now?
Yeah, even better when it's right under your nose and you're the suburb that's been benefited from. So
That's
the
it.
Beeline bus is a brilliant one for the Northern Beaches. It was basically like getting the ultimate train system on 4 wheels. This is a...
And you're talking billions of dollars. So some of these upgrades that happen are like 300 million, 400 million, $500 million of sort of, upgrades to an area. That's got to facilitate good property prices and good property growth.
Yeah, but even as a local, 1 minute they were gone. 1 minute they didn't exist, and next minute they're here. And after a month or so, it just felt like they were always a part of our daily life. There wasn't,
and it's a big ball breaker actually. Going through the growing pains of this infrastructure, like for instance, in North Sydney at the moment, they're tunnelling down all the way across to Balmain. I think I know a lot of people driving past just thinking, whatever, they're just fixing roads or I don't know what they're doing. But that sort of infrastructure, they're tunnelling from North Sydney to Balmain. It's going to plug you into, I think it's the M5, which will take you all across Sydney. It's taking traffic away from the city. But this is what people don't get. They just think the people of North Sydney are the winners. But people of Camaray, people of Northern Beaches, of Manly, people of DY, it knocks on, like traffic, for instance, or trains, it knocks on through, 10, 20 kilometres in each direction, maybe 30, 40 kilometres in each direction when these upgrades are made. And, when you're sitting in traffic for an hour and 30 a day, and that goes down to an hour and 15 a day, 15 each way, that adds up to a lot. And it helps people spend more time with their family, save money, and they'll pay more for property.
So I guess the golden question is, how do you find them? And second question, is every area that's going through an infrastructure upgrade a good place to buy?
Yeah. You know what? I think if you're chasing infrastructure upgrades as a sport when you get home to kill time, you're probably not the most interesting person in the world. And that's the problem. That's why people don't really know that much about these. They don't really take their dwell time, their hobby time, their family time, and say, let's have a look at infrastructure upgrades. But we're going to do that a little bit this morning. I think right you are. Does anyone really care? Once that's done, will the actual value really go up? I know everyone's been hearing about Badgerys Creek Airport, Metropolis, and everyone's just going, it's been going on for 15, 20 years now. How's that going to affect me in different parts of Sydney?
Yeah, but that's a great one. A new airport going in. Everyone's talking about house and land packages out there. Get in now whilst it's cheap, whilst you can. Will it explode through the roof once it opens up to a international market? That, I guess that's the question on everyone's mind. But we're gonna show you some other projects this morning as well.
And I do have to urge everyone today, when they're thinking about what we're telling them, I do have to urge to look on the greater knock-on effects, not just the direct effect. Again, like I mentioned, with traffic hitting 20, 30 Ks out of that epicenter of what's changed, going back to that airport in Badgerys Creek, Billy, what that does for Sydney Airport is starts freeing it up. So what that does when you're starting to free up traffic around our airport, whether it's air traffic or car traffic or train traffic, it alleviates other parts of Sydney when it does that. So people will think, okay, Badgerys Creek, who cares? But if you take half the airports out of Sydney, half the planes out of Sydney Airport, and you start redirecting them out there, that's really going to help with air traffic going over your house in Leichhardt.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
spot on.
better.
Yeah. So where do you go to find these places? Well, here's the answer. You can jump online and go to a website called infrastructure.newsouthwales.gov.au. This is the government's pipeline of projects across all different sectors. It's a really interesting website to definitely jump on in your own time and have a look at. It's got infrastructure projects with a minimum capital value of $50 million. So up the top here, you can filter it in, by different fields. You can download this if you want. You can search projects by name. But what they do here is they break it down to, first of all, categories. So you've got arts and culture. You've got a number of projects there. Commercial, education, health.
My God.
Telco. This is a nerd's paradise.
It's a nerd's paradise. You know what? If you're a savvy buyer's agent recommending districts for buyers to buy, if you're in a real estate trusts in REITs, and you're investing your money, this is where these guys go to find out more about where the money's flowing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then next to it, it's even put the dollar value. So this is, as an example, Rouse Hill Hospital, 500 million to $1 billion project. So this is big caliber stuff.
Yeah.
It gives you a little bit of information about what's going on, and then it gives you the pipeline of the sort of procurement time and then the construction time. So that's to be advised. But you can see other ones here. It's a rolling program that's ongoing. This one's in construction. So it's a really, really interesting place to just come and have a look and see where the government's putting their money.
So, guys, if you've just tuned in, we're talking about buying property and getting into spotting high growth areas to make money. Billy, another big one that I'm seeing people chase is an Olympic village, or is an Olympics. I've seen that happen in 2000 with our Olympic village here in Homebush, and I'm seeing that happen at the moment with Queensland. A lot of people are it's just another excuse for people to whack their money into Queensland because of the infrastructure upgrades Queensland's going to get. Yeah,
true. I mean, it's interesting to compare people that have lived in Sydney, been born and bred in Sydney, always bought property in Sydney, actually now making the change, even late into their sort of property investing career.
And you know what? There's also, I've got to say, with this infrastructure and everyone to watch out for, because I've seen this happen in 30 years of real estate, people think it's a dramatic effect and it's an immediate effect. It's not. If anything, it's probably 3 to 5 to 7 years after the fact where you really see that maturity of that growth in price. An example of that, our B-line bus, we got hammered when we were going to the city as people on the northern beaches. The government spent $350 million on upgrading the bus system. They then spent $280 million upgrading the Ringa Freeway bypass. People thought, well, I never go up there anyway. That doesn't help me. But it did because of the knock-on effect. It took cars. People were going, I'm just always going to go through the city. Now people are going, I've got 2 distinct options to get to the city. So it alleviated that on the Spit Bridge, the traffic. And 3 to 5 years later, that's my point. 3 to 5, 7 years later, you see people going, how good is this? Meriton Village, they spent in today's money probably $1 billion on Meriton in DY. Property value is staying there now. And now we're really feeling it. When they were talking about it 10, 15 years ago, everyone was rolling their eyeballs back. Yeah.
So there you go. I think if we can sum up today's episode, do your research, but also consider, I think, that 5-10 year plan, like you should do with any property purchase.
I think for me, in summary, chase infrastructure, chase sustainable infrastructure, stuff that's going to sit around and really benefit the community for a long time, and enjoy that capital growth, not straight away, not before the infrastructure's built, but 3, 5, 7 years later, you're going to be selling for big money.
That's a really good episode. Thanks,
Love
Mark.
ya. See ya. Bye, everyone.